Hi all! Let's talk about the OKR cycle. When we think about OKRs, we might think that this is just the way to formulate goals. We formulate objectives, we formulate measurable indicators, and link underneath initiatives, and we are done. It would be nice if it would be the case, but usually when we implement OKRs in a team, department, or entire organization, we need to implement the culture that will support the benefits of the OKRs. This is what we call OKR as a system. When we are having not only nicely formulated objectives, but also thinking how to create a culture that will support the benefits we would like to have with the goal-setting framework. Whether it's transparency, tracking, focus, agility, empowerment of employees. And one of the essential elements of OKR as a system is the OKR cycle. In a nutshell, the OKR cycle can be divided into three parts. The first part is definition of OKRs. And if you look into more details what is included in this step, then it consists of crafting, aligning, committing, and sharing. Teams are gathering and brainstorming on the objective and key results. After that, they are aligning them with other teams and departments. When alignment is done, then they are committed to this. Usually, we identify the owners of the key results, the objectives, who will drive them. It doesn't mean that the owner will be the only one who is working on objective or key results. No, it is the person who will make sure that OKR gets needed attention. For example, if it's in red status, then we address the issue. Think about the action plan, and that we share OKRs with relevant stakeholders. If it's company OKRs, we share them to all employees. If it's team OKRs, we share them to other teams in the department. To run an effective crafting phase during OKR definition workshop, you can do it in 5 steps. Start with why, discuss the purpose and significance of OKRs, align them with the goals of the organization. Review the current state to understand the baseline and identify gaps that OKR can address. Visualize success. If we have the best year or quarter ever, what would it look like? Focus and refine. Narrow down to the most critical objectives and key results. And wrap up. Summarize and confirm the finalized OKRs. The second step in OKR cycle is regular OKR check-ins. OKR check-in consists of review and acting on the key results that need attention. We will look into more details on how to prepare for how to run effective OKR check-ins in the next lesson. And the final step, the third step in the OKR cycle, is reflect and reset. This step can be divided into 4 parts. We start with conducting a final grade of our OKRs. It is essential to grade OKRs throughout the quarter during check-ins to avoid surprises. And after final grading, we reflect on our OKR process. How we set goals, what is working and not, how we can improve the company culture around OKRs. This retrospective helps us identify improvements. Looking forward, we take these insights into the next cycle. Each cycle should become better, making OKRs easier and more effective. Resetting means returning to the first step, defining new OKRs, and starting the OKR cycle again. You might ask, how long is the OKR cycle? There is no single right answer. Even within one company, you might have different cycles depending on the level you are considering. You might have a strategic cycle with long-term intervals, such as 3 to 5 years, which can be broken down into more tangible yearly OKRs. And teams most commonly will have quarterly intervals. The length of the OKR cycle depends on various factors, including the stability of your environment. In a more stable environment, the cycle might be longer than a quarter. If your environment is rapidly changing, you may need to adjust your OKRs more frequently. If you have 3 horizons, long-term intervals, yearly intervals, and quarterly intervals, you need to define the OKR cycle for each. This involves going through the 3 steps of defining, checking in, and reflecting, resetting for each interval. Let's look at a few examples of OKR cycles from the clients that we have worked on. In this company, frequency of OKR check-ins in teams is weekly or bi-weekly. Then management will have monthly OKR check-in to get an overview of how departments are doing. They have also decided for weekly OKR check-in during board meetings to look at company-level OKRs. This is a great commitment from the leadership team that shows an example for others. When they come to the end of the quarter, then they reflect and reset. And after that, they again craft in the OKRs for the next quarter. And at the end of the business year, they reflect and reset for the yearly OKRs. OKR Cycle provides teams with clarity on timelines for crafting quarterly OKRs, communication schedules, retrospectives, and check-ins. Let's look at the OKR cycle of another company. They have a great description of each phase. They have named phases a bit differently. The first phase, craft, starts the cycle with crafting OKRs. Once OKRs are crafted, they commit to them and share them. Following this, they conduct regular check-ins and reviews. At the end of the cycle, they have a grade and reflect phase. They provide an in-depth description of each phase, outlining important steps and hints for teams working with OKRs. This includes questions to ask about objectives, key results, communication, alignment, and commitment. This approach exemplifies transparency in the OKR cycle and process. They also have a calendar indicating the specific week for each phase, which helps in planning and setting expectations. For two different cycles, yearly and quarterly, they have phases like craft, commit and share, check-in and review. Also, the phases are similar, the implementation varies slightly between yearly and quarterly cycles. This approach ensures clarity, especially for those responsible for driving the OKR culture within the company. Remember, the OKR cycle is not set in stone. It will evolve. Communicate these changes to your team and seek feedback for continuous improvement. Reflecting and adjusting the cycle ensures it remains effective. That is it for this video, and in the next video we will look at how to conduct the effective OKR check-in meetings.